Okay, so in this video, we're going to preview the bulk pay-per-click campaign uploader tool, which honestly takes something that takes about 5-10 minutes that could have taken upwards of an hour using the standard campaign creator within Amazon Seller Central. So we're going to go pretty detailed here, but trust me, after you've done this a couple times, it's lightning fast and is an absolute game changer in terms of saving time using bulk files to upload your pay-per-click campaigns, especially when you're launching a product for the first time. So what we're basically going to do to start off is you're going to log into your FBA Excel account, which is how you're going to access the Keyword Dominator and later the Apex tool and some other things. And you're going to go to this toolbox tab. If this changes, by the way, I'll leave updated instructions in the SOP so everybody has this. But you basically just want to come to this Flex V1, click on that, and then you basically are just going to copy the document to the Google account that you want to use for this. Then you'll have a working file. This is the one that I've kind of created to kick off this example of the golf push cart that we're doing. So after you've got it downloaded and set up, similar to the Keyword Dominator, you kind of have to enable permissions the first time to run the script. But once you've done that, you're basically good to kind of run things here. The next thing you want to do is to go into your Google Drive of choice and just create a file for the brand that you're going to run pay-per-click for. This will also come in handy for the Apex pay-per-click tutorial that we'll get into in the pay-per-click masterclass for the advanced strategies. But for this purpose, I've just got Birdie pay-per-click, pretty simple folder. The reason is we're actually going to need this number here, which we'll get into later on. So once you've kind of gone in here, you're going to basically come in and enter your FBA login and your password here, and then this is where that Google Drive folder ID is. So I'll just go ahead and copy it since I'm here. You can then plug in your Google ID, and then basically it's going to export any bulk files that we create to that Google Drive folder. So it's pretty slick. So basically what we're going to want to do is we're going to come to this tab here, the campaign builder tab, and that's where we're going to kind of make a lot of the magic happen. But before we do that, what I do is I open up and create a new sheet. And this is really where we're going to go ahead and kind of copy all of our raw keyword data from Keyword Dominator that will really be the foundation of the campaigns that we're going to build out here. So if I come over here, I've got my launch priority number 1. All I'm really going to do here is just copy in just this section here. I don't even need the first column. Copy that, come into Flex. I'll just put that there so I can delete all those columns. So this is all of our priority 1 campaigns that we want to create. The first thing that we're going to want to do here is to actually input the SKU. So this is really important. It's not the ASIN that you put in here. It's the actual SKU that you created for your product in Amazon. The reason that we use SKU instead of ASIN for building out these campaigns is that if you're running both an FBM fulfilled by merchant as well as an FBA offer for your ASIN, you've got to have independent pay-per-click campaigns for each of those. And the SKU is the only way to differentiate between FBM and FBA because they share the same ASIN. So let's just pretend that we had, I don't know, golf push 1 was the name of our SKU in Amazon, but basically just use the SKU that you've got in Amazon for this. So then you just copy that SKU all the way down for all of these. Okay, so we've got that. The next thing we've got to do to make this format properly for the script that's going to run is we're just going to go ahead and literally copy all of this here. Then we're going to go to paste special and then go paste transposed. And then that's going to create that all the way across here for us. So for this one, for the single keyword, I'm just going to put 1 SKC just so we've got that. So these are all individual campaigns all the way to here. This is one of the exact campaigns. We'll put a 1 there. This is the exact campaign 2. I'll just put a 2 there. It starts there. And then this is the exact campaign 3. So we'll go ahead and put that there. What I would also do here is I would go back to the Keyword Dominator. I would include my launch pay-per-click here as well as my branded terms. We'll save the product targeting for last. For the purposes of this demo, it's basically the exact same thing that we did here. It's just that you would have different campaigns for those priority 2s and the branded terms. So we'll just kind of do this one for the purposes of this. But once that's kind of done, we can go ahead and delete this stuff out here. So the next thing that we're going to do, because all of these keywords here beyond these single keyword campaigns are basically in an individual campaign, all we want to do here is just go ahead and copy up to this 2, which is where the new campaign starts. Copy that, and we'll just go here, paste special, paste transpose, and it's going to go ahead and copy those all the way down there. And then I just kind of delete the stuff that we don't need here, delete that out, and then I copy this up. And then that's my kind of exact campaign that's got whatever it is here. Let's just see. We've got eight keywords in that campaign. So that's going to be our second campaign. And then we're going to basically just do the exact same thing here. We're basically going to do the exact same thing here for these guys, because these are all keywords in the same campaign. Go to paste special, paste transposed, delete all this stuff out here, delete that. Don't need this either. And just copy that out so there's no row. It's important that you just kind of keep the spacing right. And then we're going to go ahead and just copy that campaign over here. That is going to be our second campaign with batch terms together. And then this final one here, same kind of deal. So that's pretty much it. We're in business, right? So we've got, if we just copy this SKU row here, we've got 17 actual campaigns that we're going to create in bulk. So the next thing I do is just copy this thing here, and then I'm going to go back to this flex tab, and now we're going to go ahead and create this sucker. So we're going to go to add new campaigns, and we're going to go to add exact. It's going to run a script. It's asking how many campaigns we need to add. That's why we were counting that before. So in our case, it's 17. We hit boom, and boom, it's created all these columns to basically create those campaigns for us. The first thing that we're going to do here is just go to this selected SKU here and just copy in the golf push 1. So we've now got that SKU in there, and it's pulled it already into this campaign name. So you'll see the campaign name, and we'll get into this in the pay-per-click masterclass in terms of structure, but it's got E for exact, SP for sponsored products, golf push 1, which is the SKU. So we've got that campaign name in there. The next thing I want to do here is I usually like to just keep like a naming nomenclature so that we kind of keep that all together here. So I just kind of call these, I'll call this group 1, and then I'll do underscore SKC, just so that if we decide to edit to another group later on, we kind of have that. And then I'll just keep this as group 1 exact, just so I can track that over time. So I'll do G1 underscore E for that. And then I'll usually just kind of, if you're going to maintain these over time, especially for maintenance mode, I'll usually just kind of say group 1 and then the date, so I can kind of see when I made those changes. So the next thing that we're going to want to do is literally just copy these keywords that we've created into each of those campaigns here. So we'll go back to this guy, copy that in there, and then boom. So we've got a single keyword campaign created for every single one of those, and then we've got these batched exact campaigns. There's 3 of them where we've got all those keywords. Again, if we were doing priority 2s or the branded terms, we would basically just have additional ones out. It's the exact same methodology. The next thing that you can do to kind of update the campaign name, since this is kind of group 1, I'll put group 1 SKC, SKC standing for single keyword campaign. I'll go ahead and hit that. And then it's kind of created this new naming nomenclature for me. So I'll go ahead and copy these guys over down to this campaign name, paste the values there, and then all I'm going to do is just for these last 3, because they aren't single keywords, I'll basically just say E's here. E1. E2. E3. Cool, so I've got a naming nomenclature that's super easy to search later on. I've got my SKU in here so I can target either via FBA or FBM. I've got all these campaigns kind of set up, ready to rock and roll. So the next thing is just to kind of name the ad group. Typically what we'll do here for single keyword campaigns, we'll just go ahead and we'll copy the actual term in here to the ad group name. And then for the kind of batch campaigns like these ones here, it's literally just the ASIN. So let's just say that it was B01234 was our ASIN. I just put the ASIN in that one, so then we can kind of have the campaign set up for ASIN. So the structure is all ready to go. Now we just need to figure out what the bid amount in our bid strategy is, which we can apply to this across the board. And how we kind of do that is what I'll typically do. I'll come in here and just take my priority 1 keywords from my keyword list. I'll just copy all those suckers there. And then the easiest way to kind of initiate your initial bid strategy is just to kind of figure out what the recommended bid ranges are in general for this category of keywords within actual Amazon Seller Central. So if you come into your ad dashboard and you go to add a new campaign, and then you go to sponsored products and go to continue, basically we're going to kind of pretend like we're setting up a campaign here, even though we're only going to be doing all of it in bulk. Go into manual targeting here, select the product you want to target, and then just come in here to this keyword targeting, go to the enter list. And then we're just going to, just for fun, just show the exact terms here, add the keywords. And then all this basically does is it gives me a pretty healthy range of kind of what the general average is across this entire category. So you'll see here kind of 130, 350 is the highest. We got a lot in the 2s, and then there's some lower ones. There's a couple in the 3s kind of for the mid-range. So generally speaking, what I like to do is to take the upper range of the keywords when I'm launching. There's a couple different approaches here. Some people like to start really low, say at like 50 cents, and then slowly inch their way up if they don't get impressions. I personally like to get as many clicks, impressions, add to cart sales, and data, more importantly, as soon as possible in the honeymoon for launch. And so I'm typically going to want to be on the upper end of the suggested bid average for the keywords, right? So some of these are going to be a lot higher than others, but generally speaking, it looks like kind of, if I look across here, somewhere in the mid $3 range is probably going to be on the upper kind of end of the spectrum, certainly above average for most bids. So that's what I would probably start out at. I'd probably start out at like $3.50. For this particular set of campaigns, and we can obviously adjust those bids in the first couple weeks as we get more data from Amazon. So I just kind of use this just as a bit of a barometer yardstick on what exactly we want the bid to be, but I'm just going to assume $3.50 in our case. So then you come back to this flex tool. If you go to the settings tab here, this is where you can kind of set your bid strategy. So I like down only, and then there's the daily budget per campaign that you can set here as well. If I'm running a lot of single keywords or I'm on a tight budget, $5 is a good starting point. If you want to get more aggressive or you've got kind of a bigger category, you may want to bump this up to 10. So in our case, it would be, $170 a day at this point. So you just kind of put that to 10. And then again, what's the default bid? I'm going to go ahead and say $3.50 because I want to be a little bit more aggressive. If you want it to be less aggressive, you can kind of just change this. So it's basically going to set each campaign at $10. It's going to set the default bid at $3.50. And then again, you can adjust any of those at the campaign level later if you'd like to have a little bit more customization. So the final thing we want to do here is if you've got some product targeting campaigns where you actually want to display some ads on the top competing ASINs, you can go ahead and create those campaigns here as well too. In our case, we're just going to put all 10 of those ASINs we want to target into a single campaign. So it's really just one campaign. However, if you wanted to do some individual product targets, so say maybe you wanted to have one campaign for the top ASIN, one campaign for the ASIN you really think you can beat, and then like the other 8 in another campaign, you can totally do that. But in my case, I'm just going to do one here for this example. So you go back to the add new campaigns, and instead of the add exact like we did initially, we're going to go to this add PAT, which is basically the product targeting. Again, it's going to ask how many campaigns we want. In our case, it's just going to be one. And then it's just going to go ahead and create this thing here. We can copy in the same SKU. Again, SKU, not ASIN in this case. So we've got that one there. And then I just put in here the G1 PAT, and you can kind of see we can copy that nomenclature here if we want to just have an additional kind of suffix there for the campaign name. So that's pretty much it here. And then all we need to basically do is just do this ASIN target. So you can see instead of the exact keywords here, it basically has the ASIN targets. So I'll go back to Keyword Dominator, copy those 10 in there. And then I'm just going to go ahead and paste values. And so I've got all of those ASINs. So we've got an additional campaign. So now it looks like I think we've got 19 total campaigns, bunch of single keyword targets, exact for highly relevant words. We've got those batched exact campaigns. And in this case, we've got the product targeting. If we wanted to do, again, a typical one, we'd probably add the 2s and the branded terms as well. But to save time, we haven't created those. And then that's pretty much it. We kind of want the magic to happen here, right? So if we go back to our settings again, we've got kind of daily campaign budget. Let's say we wanted to make that $10 a campaign, and then we wanted our default minimum bid to be $350. We can start there. And then all we got to do here is just add campaigns to bulk file. It's going to run a little script. And then boom, in a magic button, if you've ever tried to create bulk files before, it's a royal pain in the butt, deleting rows, doing all that fun stuff. But it's basically take this in a push of a button, it spit it into the exact formatting that Amazon needs to be able to effectively kind of upload this bulk file. So it's taking a lot of that guesswork out. Again, it's a little bit longer form because I'm explaining it, but this shouldn't take you any more than 10 minutes in most cases. But typically that would be a significant amount of time if you're building these campaigns out one by one from scratch using the actual seller central system. So we've got this file, but what we actually need is this into an Excel format in order to upload the bulk file into Amazon. And so the last thing that you can do here is just go to build campaign upload file, and then you just hit yes here. And then boom, it'll come up here with the new file added. You hit OK. And this is really the reason that we put in this G Drive folder ID, because what it has done is, if we go back to this Birdie PPC folder that we set up, it's now uploaded this file right here to G Drive for us. So it's rocking, ready to go, and ready to be uploaded to Amazon. Then all you really need to do is just come into your Amazon portal. You're going to go to the sponsored ads section, go to the bulk operations, and then you basically just go to this choose file where to upload your flat file. And then you basically just find that spreadsheet, upload that spreadsheet, and it's going to create, in our case, 19 campaigns. It could be 100, it could be 200 campaigns, whatever you want in that bulk file, but it's going to do that all in one fell swoop. They'll be ready to go. You can pause them, you can make adjustments how you need to based on that, but they will be in your Seller Central ad console ready to go. The last thing I should just mention here, in case you've actually set up your own portfolio, so let's say that we had a golf push cart portfolio that you wanted to have within the campaign manager of Amazon. If you go ahead and create that portfolio, you can actually copy that portfolio ID here to row 49 as well. So if you wanted to bulk create that with the actual portfolio already attached, you can do that within this file as well. So that's it, guys. Again, in a matter of minutes, you can kind of create a crap load of launch pay-per-click campaigns, get your bulk file, upload it, and you're off to the races.